But I know 11 is not going to happen. So by 11:30, I will definitely try and wrap it up. But for your appointments, just make sure that you would be free after around 12. I don't want to overpromise in terms of time. Just allow to up until 12 o'clock so that you can be free. The intention of this presentation by my friend Kaka is not to make you now town planners, but is to just make you aware of what is it that you should be looking at when you investing, when you're building, either building your home or investing in rooms. Now, I just want to also say to you that there's someone who's making noise. Can I just ask you guys to mute yourselves? What I was saying is I just want to say to you that I'm grateful that you have taken time to join us this morning. Although we're impacting in knowledge to you guys, but this would not happen if you decide not to show up. And I know Saturday mornings are relaxed days for most people, but you committed to your own success, so you've decided to sacrifice the time in bed this winter to wake up and join us in these sessions. That I have received very positive feedback, and that's what keeps me going, is the feedback that I get from you that says these sessions are very helpful. They assist some people to change their direction. They help some people to start new direction. So it's been very helpful to a lot of people. Now, time, as I always say, is much more important than money. The time that you're spending this morning, and I will repeat this for every session so that it gets into all our heads. The time that you're spending this morning, you will never get it back. But the money that you would have lost this morning, you can always make it up today, tomorrow, any other day. But as for the time, you will never get that time back. So it's important that you use the information that you get from this session as much as you can. I'm not saying to you, you must be able to use everything that you get this morning, but I'm saying choose one thing that you can pick up and run with it. Run with it from today or tomorrow morning. You make sure that you pick up one thing and then you run with that one thing. I don't know what is going to resonate with you, but just try and find something that resonates with you. But what I normally do is that after every meeting or session that I have, I go through the notes that I make in that session and then just go over those notes and see if there's not something that resonates with me that I can take on. And I always aim to take at least one thing and run with that one thing that resonated with me. So that's what I'm calling you to do this morning. Now, in terms of the agenda, I'm going to do an introduction. Then we're going to get a presentation from a friend of mine, Kakalum Zisobao. Now you would notice there that I have highlighted the first part of his name, which is Kaka. Kaka is a closer word for a shield. So today, I'm not even going to thank him for spending time here and sharing the knowledge with us here, because he's doing what his parents thought he should be doing anyway, which is to protect our nation. In this case, this morning, he's doing his duty as a protector of this Black nation, because the information that's going to give us today is important. It's going to help us to prevent lots of mistakes, lots of very costly mistakes that we can make as people, especially Black people, because we don't have reference points. So we have our shield this morning, who's going to be imparting knowledge to us. Then we'll have a question and answer session at the end of the session. So let's let him present, and then at the end, then we can come back to the presentation and ask him the questions. I want you to contemplate this question. Do you deserve anything from life? Does life owe you anything? Jim Rohn says, life does not owe you anything. In fact, right from the beginning in the Bible, we were told that only if you plant, you shall reap. So life, you must understand that life does not deserve to the need. Life rewards action. If you think because of you need something, then you should get it. It does not work like that. It's only if you take action and plant that you shall reap. Now, I'm talking to a good crowd because I'm talking to my fellow Africans this morning. We've got this problem, just in general as people, that we tend to criticize what is it that Undumiso or Kaka or the next door neighbor or the government or whoever is doing. Sometimes we even criticize God and the universe for giving us everything that they've given us. We tend to have good intentions, talk a lot about what is it that we are going to do and what is it that we would want to do. But when it comes to what brings magic, you find that we are lacking. So we go back to that word. Do you deserve anything from life? Does life owe you anything? I will leave it up to you, but contemplate on it and decide what works for you and what doesn't work for you. Now, I will just tell you a bit about myself. Guys, can you see my screen? As I'm talking, I did not even check if people can see my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes, in fact, I can see your screen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
Okay, that's great then. A lot of you know something about me. I'm a property investor. I'm an accountant, which I mentioned this particularly because it assists in terms of a lot of technicalities that are required in property investing, which is mainly number crunching. If you don't do your numbers before you invest, you might have issues going forward. I'm a proponent of continuous improvement. As such, I'm a Toastmaster. I am a president of Forum Toastmasters. Toastmasters is a club that is an organization. Toastmasters International is an organization that has enabled me to be able to speak to you this morning. It's an organization that teaches public speaking, which is a skill that all of us, whether you think you need it or not, I can tell you now, if you are in this Zoom this morning, or in this call this morning, you do need the skill of public speaking. Like I said, I'm a property investor. I consider myself a wealth builder. I take property not as a destination, but as a means to the end, not the end itself, but the means to the end of what I want. I don't know why you decided to wake up this morning other than to say you're coming to learn from Kaka, but I hope you've got a bigger why than just waking up this morning. I'm a founder of Ekasi Properties. And may I ask for those who have not liked Ekasi Properties Facebook page, not the group, Facebook page, to please do so. And please assist in the group to spread the revolution by inviting your friends and family to join the group. And it is easy. When you are in the group, you will see the button on Facebook that says invite. Please invite your friends, and also like Ekasi Properties Facebook page, because that's where the magic is going to be happening in the near future. We hold these roundtable discussions almost every other Saturday. I advertise them on Facebook. But I also have a group, a WhatsApp group, where I spread communication to the people that have indicated that they would want to learn from what we do. So don't, if you are not on that Facebook group, you might miss some things. I'm a trainer and a coach, a property coach. And the one, in fact, I want two things from life and nothing else. I want health and wealth. So if you hear me sneezing, you must say, bless you with health and wealth. Those are my contact numbers. All of you probably have. On the 22nd of August, I'm running a training on multi-lets, where we'll be covering the investment strategies, due diligence, an appropriate investment structure. We'll be delving more in what Kaka is going to share with you this morning in terms of understanding your zoning requirements. So the session today emphasizes on this item on zoning requirements, and then we're going to talk about what numbers should you do before, how you analyze a multi-let deal. That means before you invest, what is it that you need to do to make sure that you are going to get the returns that you want? We're also going to talk about ways of obtaining a funding for your investment, different ways. We're also going to talk about how to deal with building and builders. Just a few tips on how you deal with those. Now, this is a logo of Ekasi Properties. I want you, when you see this logo, I want you to locate yourself on this. You see, there's some people that are still contacting me there. I'm sure they want to join us. I will attend to them just after this. Now, I want you to locate yourself on this logo, because this is a circle of our growth. This is also a circle of our lives as mostly African people. We've got our great-grandfathers, our ancestors that were on here as far as wealth building is concerned. And then we have our fathers that took something from our great-grandfathers, but nothing really happened. And then you probably have us here. I'm saying probably because I will just explain that this is supposed to be us, me and you. We have some knowledge, we have access to knowledge and anything that we need to make our lives better. Then we are going to use that to build wealth and legacies. And for the purpose of Ekasi Properties, that wealth and legacy is based on property investing. Like I said, property is not the end itself, but the means to an end. And we are going to generate these legacies by pulling up the other people. That's why I pleaded with you to invite your friends and family to be able to join us in Ekasi Properties that they can learn. But this circle also talks about me and you specifically. This is different phases. Like you can see, the blue is, we are at this stage when we lack knowledge. We don't know where we are, whether we're coming or we're going. We just wake up, we look at the sky and the sun rises and it sets and nothing happens. This one here, you've attended a roundtable, a Ekasi roundtable, and you got some information. You read a book, you get some information. But you have not done anything about it. Now here, you're starting to implement what you have been taught. Then, from then on, you build your own legacy, whatever it is. But in whatever that you do, don't forget to pull others. This is why I decided to do the legacy round tables Saturday discussions, because I want to pull all of you with me as I go up. I want to pull all of you with me through the trainings that I'm presenting and the coaching that I'm presenting. And that's what Ekasi Properties represent. It represents our cycle as Africans. It also represents me and you personally. And it talks to our conscience as well, to say, in whatever that we do, we must remember we've got a responsibility to pull our children, we've got responsibility to pull everyone next to us. Players, I hope you are ready. I will now give it up to you to run your presentation and share with us your knowledge. And we don't take lightly the time that you have decided to spend with us this morning. We are eternally grateful to you for having sacrificed your morning with your close by, your people. I'm interrupting myself here because I don't know if I must say this, but I know that you had a baby last week, and we don't take it lightly that you have decided to sacrifice that time with a newborn to be with us this morning. Over to you, Tata.
Oh, thank you, for such a stunning introduction. Yeah. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kakalomzi Sopua. As Mhlekazi alluded to it, I call him Mhlekazi because in Xhosa, that's the way we appreciate umuntu omdala okanye ongaphezulu kunawe. I hope you're well.
I hope you're not saying Dimdala, what okay? Maybe you're just saying.
Of course you are.
Not with Dimdala.
Of course you are. Of course you are. Well, guys, my presentation won't be long. It will be just explaining some of the things that we should be aware when we are buying a property, whether you want to buy a property or you have a property. But some of the preventative measures that you can take just to minimize or avoid unnecessary costs, because sometimes whatever mistake you do, whether you are aware of it doing it or you are not aware, it might cost you money. I'll just continue with the introduction. I've just uploaded it just now. Okay, can anyone see my presentation?
Yes, we can.
All right.
Yes, we're fine.
Thank you.
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes,
thanks,
we can.
Yes, guys, I'll be dwelling on the topic of the day, which is understanding municipal building requirements for your property investment. I'll go beyond that. I'll touch on issues of zoning on your property. We work with, okay, I'm a professional town planner. I'm registered with the South African Council for Planners as a professional town planner. I've been in the industry for almost 7 years now. It's been quite an interesting journey, helping clients, both private and public, I mean municipalities. Most of our client base is municipalities, which are based in KZN at the moment. Today's content that will be on the agenda is KKC projects and the services that we offer, and I'll be unpacking the term zoning, which brings a lot of confusion to some of the people. I'll also try and advise on what property you should buy on the market and those that you cannot buy. I'll advise also on buying property in compliance with the municipal bylaw. I'll advise as well on how to change the land use in your property in terms of the municipal bylaw, what is required from you. Also, what's gonna happen if you don't abide by law. Powers does the municipality have imposing on you if you contravening their bylaw? Then we'll move on questions and answers, and I'll also leave my details at the end. As I mentioned earlier on, KK City Projects is a town planning firm. We started this company in 2015. When I jumped out of university, when I finished my university in 2014, I worked for 2.5 years for small town planning firms. And then I gained a lot of experience because I was exposed to a lot of experience because of the work that we're doing. So I decided to start my own thing. Since then, I've been working by myself. Our client base, as I mentioned, is both private and public. We work with municipalities in KZN, Mandeni municipality, for example, and what tools are we doing? They wanna, for example, Mandeni, they wanna do a testing station, DLTC. So we've been helping them consolidating the properties that they wanna do that structure there. So it's been a successful project, and we're busy with another one in Kwatuwoza. So we situated in Johannesburg. That's where we're based, but then we operate all over the province. As I said, I'm a professional town planner. I'm registered with SPLUMA. That's my PR number on the screen. So guys, if you need any help as well with the content that I'll be sharing with you, you have questions, you are thinking of buying a new property, you don't know what to do, you can also keep in touch with us. We are more than welcome to assist you. The services that we offer a zoning application, we offer consent use, we do removal of restrictive title conditions. If you want to do a building relaxation, in terms of land relaxation, building land relaxation, we also assist you in that. Subdivision and consolidation, if you have 2 properties and you want to consolidate them, we help you that. If you have a big property, you want to subdivide it, we help you with that. If you have an encroachment, maybe one of your buildings encroaching on another property, boundary of another property, then we also do a regularization of general plan. We can also assist you with that. Then with township establishment, if you want to do big development, residential development, you're looking at building more rental units on a bigger land, let's say. Then you want to do a township establishment, we also assist you with that. And we also, let's say you are buying that big portion of land and you want to put more dwelling houses or dwelling units, but you're not sure whether it's a viable approach to do. Maybe you're scared of the things that you don't know, for example, what measures you can take. You can contact us. We do feasibility studies. We can do a feasibility study for you. Look at the environment. We look at the geotech of want to put, depending on types of building you want to put. We're going to do other specialist studies, look at the park infrastructure around that area, whether it's there, because one of the important things that you must be aware of, whatever development you do or you bring in your property, there must be a park infrastructure on it. So if you are looking at bringing more development on your property end, you don't have bulk infrastructure, it becomes a problem. It becomes a problem. So these are kind of services we offer, guys. In future, if you're thinking of buying a property, you can contact us for further advice. Okay, let's start by unpacking the term zoning. Basically, zoning is a process whereby the municipality categorizes its land in terms of zone and determine which land uses are permitted on that piece of land. For example, every municipality has got a land parcel that is demarcated for residential. It's got a land that is demarcated for schools, for clinic, for industries, for prisons, you know. So we call that zoning. So every city is got a zoning, and that zoning, it becomes a document that is approved by the council of that municipality. Once it's approved, it becomes a law. So it gets enforced by the municipality. So that's why it's important for you, if you buy a property, you need to confirm the zoning of the property, whether it's what exactly you want it to be. For example, if you wanted to buy a residential house, just do one dwelling house on it, and then when you get there, or the state agent doesn't tell you whether the zoning, maybe let's say is zone school, you find it later that actually the property you bought is zone school, and the municipal inspector comes and sees that actually your property is zone residential one, then automatically you've contravened the bylaw. We are in the wrong side of the municipality. So what advice would I share with you is that if you wanna buy a property, we are sitting there, you think of buying a property, you should decide on what kind of property investment you wanna buy or you wanna start with, whether it's on residential buildings, offices, commercial buildings, or business buildings, because that's gonna give you a clear understanding expectations you can get in terms of following the law. Thereafter, you must confirm the zoning, the current zoning of that property. Let's say you buy it or you wanna buy it. In fact, you can even confirm even before you buy it, you do the transaction. Confirm the zoning of the property with the municipality. Or if you can't do it by yourself, you can consult us or any professional town planner there to advise you further. Because sometimes, for example, the advantage of consulting a town planner before you buy a property. Let's say you wanna buying a property, let's say 800 square meter or 1,000 square meter, and it's zoned residential one. Residential one, you can only put one dwelling house, nothing more. But if you get an advice from a professional town planner, maybe he or she can advise you and say, if you buy this property, you can rezone it to residential. You can rezone the property to residential 2 or residential 3, which means you can put more units on those zonings, which is residential 2 or residential 3. That's how you maximize the profitability of the property if you're looking at it from a property investor perspective. So if you consult a town planner prior to buying a property, that's a kind of advice you would get. Then you decide whether you buy the property or you don't. But if you just want to buy a property that's a residential one, you just want to stay on it, you don't want to invest on it. Not to say you don't want to invest on it. You don't want to do, let's say, rental houses on it. to put it in a simpler way, then you can buy it. But if you're looking at it at property investor perspective, you want to increase the rental housing on it, then you should look how profitable the property will be in future. Moving forward, also you can ask for building plans from the state agent, from whoever person you'll be buying the property from. Ask for building plans, and the building plans that are submitted to the municipality, they should be aligned with the exact structure on the property. If the property's got 5 rooms inside it and there were no alterations that were done, then there must be any alterations on the property. It must correlate with what is recorded in the municipality. So that's why it's good to acquire a building plan from the municipality, ask an architect to examine it, because if you buy it, let's say the property, okay, let's say when the building was built, the building plans were submitted, it's got 5, let's say it got like 5 rooms, got 5 rooms, and then when the time went by, the owner decided maybe to increase the rooms into 8 or 10, but it's not shown on the building plans. Now it's a matter of a municipal inspector to come and inspect you and check whether the building, whatever was approved by the municipality, is it aligned to what is existing on the property. You might get lucky and not get caught, but then once you get caught, you will be asked to comply with the law by the municipality. So that's why it's always important to get like a building plan from the state agent, because some of the state agents, they duck and dive with the issue of producing building plans, giving to the clients. They duck and dive, coming up with excuses. That's a hint. That's a hint you must look for, that something might be fishy happening there. Okay, I will move on, guys. Furthermore, if the existing land use on the property does not match with the prescribed one on the zoning map or town planning scheme, a land development application is required. Remember earlier on, I said if the zoning is residential, if the zoning is residential and you busy operating, let's say, an office in your house or a spaza shop, and it's not shown on the town planning scheme, or it's not given in the town planning scheme as a secondary right you can operate in your property, then automatically you've contravened the bylaw. It's the matter of the inspector to issue with the non-compliance notice. Then you'll have to rezone. If your property is on residential one, you can ask a town planner and say, look, I want to do a spaza shop in my property. Can you check the town planning scheme? What options do I have as an owner that I can put my spaza shop? Then the town planner will check. If there's no option, then you'll have to rezone the property completely, because a secondary land use right, let's say the spaza shop, remember the primary land use right is residential. That's a free hold, that's a free option that is given to the property to operate it as a residential. But if you want to put a spaza shop on it, that means now it's a secondary right. So if it's not listed and you apply for that secondary right, and if it's not listed in the town planning scheme, it's a problem. That means don't operate that business in your property, because you want to be stopped by the municipality. Or you'll have to rezone the whole property to business, you know. Same with the building plans. If there are any building alterations that were done before, they must be shown on the building plans that are submitted. You must get an architect and try and redraw or what's existing on site. It must be submitted and also be existing on the records of the municipality. So it must match. There must not be something else on the property and then on the records there's something else. So you need an architect to draw whatever was not shown previously on the building plans, and then he or she will help you submit the building plans to the building control department of whichever municipality you're under in. So I'll also advise on the properties not to buy in the market and those that you must buy, but I'll emphasize on the properties that you must not buy, because from my experience, I've met a lot of clients and potential clients. You find that they have been sold properties that are zoned public open spaces, that are zoned community facility. And a community facility, you can put a clinic, you can put a police station, can be zoned government, can be zoned to the railway. Remember, guys, this type of land or properties, they're normally owned by the municipality. So if you, wherever you are, if you have a property that is zoned public open space, I would like to know where did you get the title deed, because you need a title deed. Because even if a developer is building a township, new township, whether it's estate, maybe the estate it's got a park, it's got a school, it's got a clinic. Municipalities, they always ask for those properties to be handed over to them, because they're supposed to be managed by the municipality. But sometimes even those parts within those estates, they fall under the specific zoning under the town planning scheme. So guys, you should avoid properties that are zoned public open spaces. Anything that you might not be able to get the title deed for, you must stay away from that property, because chances are very high you won't do anything with those properties. You can't do any development unless you see an open land there and it's owned by the municipality and you have this big or interesting proposal business, you want to implement it and you see an open space, you can approach the municipality just to lease the land, not to buy it from someone else. Those are chances. So you must be aware of those people.
The municipalities, if I don't know if this happens, but if the municipality decide to sell the public open spaces, do they first rezone them and then sell them, or they sell them as public open space? Do they first rezone them and then sell them, or they keep their zoning and then just sell them as they are? Then if you then buy, then it's upon you to then rezone that land.
Okay. On occasions, what happens is that if the zoning is public open space, the municipalities, they withdraw the zoning of that application, of that property. They withdraw it, they put an application in terms of, there's a clause that we apply in terms of to withdraw the zoning of the property. And then they declare that they put that property to the property market for people to come and buy, for example. So, but then it must not be listed under the public open space.
Okay.
There's a clause that, there's a process that municipality has to do first before they hand over or they sell that property to the people.
So if you buy a property and then you find out the zoning, it says public open spaces, you must know that the person that's selling you that property is probably not the rightful owner of that property.
Yes.
Okay.
And you should go to the municipality and do further query on that one.
Okay, Mhlekazi.
Before you do any transaction. Yes. Okay. Now let's say you want to change land use. A land use can be residential, for example. Can be residential, can be a spaza shop, can be even a vacant land. The land use is vacant. Can be mechanic, like a dealer, you know. Basically, land use is what the land is used for, in simple terms. So if you want to change the land use, you are sitting in a residential one property, which you only allowed to do one dwelling house. Then you want to change it. Then you have to do a rezoning application. That's how you can change your current zoning to another zoning that you want. Let's say you want to increase the zoning to residential 2, you want to put more dwelling units, then you have to do a rezoning application. And that can be done by a town planner, not a land surveyor, not an engineer, but by a town planner. Alternatively, as I said, you might find that on residential 1, a secondary right is given, or whatever you desire, whatever land use you desire to put on property, whether you want to run a home enterprise office or a spaza shop, let's say it's given as a secondary right on the land use scheme, you can do what we call a special consent application. So you can apply for that secondary right as well. It's slightly the same process as rezoning, but then now you're acquiring that secondary right to be imposed on your property. Excuse me. So what happens now if you contravene the bylaw? And what powers does the municipality have? If you contravene the municipal bylaw, there's no other way to put it, guys. The municipality has all the right to demolish your property. Firstly, what they do, if you find on the wrong side of the law, they set you with a non-compliance notice as a first warning. They normally send you the second one. But during that process, they even lodge, what do you call it?
Application.
Yes, the demolition order via the council and the legal department. Once it's approved by the council and legal department, it goes to court. So they get a court order. Then they can demolish your property. So you don't want to find yourself on the wrong side of the municipality. They can be patient with you, but then it's a matter of you complying. Now, let's say they found you on the wrong side, or maybe you didn't know your property is on residential 1 and you decided to open a spaza shop in the backyard, and then the inspector came and then they found out. What will happen is that they will save you a non-compliance letter to say, hey, fix whatever you've done wrong. We're giving you a chance. So you have a chance to comply by getting a town planner, do the application and submit the application. The town planner will communicate with the legal department and say, please spare the time on my client. We are currently complying with whatever you found wrong on them. So they will hold back the compliance letter, and then up until the application is approved. But if you choose to ignore the compliance letter, then now what's going to happen? They're going to demolish your property. They're going to issue a demolition order, and then they're gonna go to court. Then it's up to you whether you appeal that court or whatever, but then it's likely that you're gonna win because they are backed with the town planning scheme, with different legislation. They're backed with the town planning scheme, they're backed with the council. So even the court, there are a lot of documents that can make a reference of to find you guilty. So just to be on the safe side, guys, it's always better to just do the right thing even from the beginning, because yes, you might not be found for 5 years doing your own thing, but remember, whatever you've spent all those 5 years, it can perish within a week once the municipality finds you, or within a year. So you don't want to find yourself in that situation, or even put kids in that situation, because whatever, let's say, God forbid you die, and then you're left with this situation on your property, then the municipality's got no choice, you know. They will demolish the property. You don't want to put your kids in that situation. It's always important just to do the right thing from the beginning. So yes, guys, that's my presentation. It ends there. These are my contact details. If you need any help or assistance regarding the town planning stuff, you are more than welcome to contact us, and we will be helping you. Thank you, guys.
Enkosi Mhlekazi. That was quite useful. And for everyone that has been listening, it's obvious that it's going to save us a lot of money. Can you just go back to your slide number 10? As a property investor, when I see that picture there of the demolition, whether they're demolishing imikuku or they're demolishing whatever structure that's there, my heart is always sore. Because I know the amount of money that gets into creating this magic of the things that we live in. But yeah, this morning, just the past 30, 25 minutes of Kaka's presentation, it might save us millions and millions of money. I liked what he said there, that you must first check with, before you build, you must first check with a town planner. And I'm thinking that that's why I have him as my friend, because then I can just quickly give him a call and say, Mhlekazi, this is what is going on. Do you have any advice? Then he gives me the advice. But ladies and gents, you now have the information. I'm sure you've got lots of questions. Let's delve on. What's on your mind? There's someone with iPhone, raise his hand, his iPhone. I don't know who's that. Can you just tell us your name and then get on with your question?
Okay, thank you. My name is Bongane, the surname is Mbeu. Yes, the question is, in fact, maybe the comment first. I bought a property some years ago, and I did not check with the municipality whether the improvements that had been effected on the property had been approved. But I only discovered, I think, in the last few weeks that actually the plan that the municipality has is different from the structure of the property. There's garage and there's a carport and so that are not on the approved plan. So the question is then, how would one, of course, one did not know about those details at the time. And now one knows, but how does one then go about actually, should I say, regularizing that? And would one do at one's expense, And because, yeah, it has been like that for years. Municipality never, I'm talking about more than 10 years or even more than 15 years, actually. Yes, there actually no issues have been raised by the municipality, but like you said, I mean, they could wait for 5 years and then strike at some point. I think that is the first one. Regarding the improvements and where one is allowed to have only one property, where one is allowed to have only one house, for example, in that property. And you said the process that one would need to follow if one wants an additional dwelling. One will then need to consult a town planner. Well, I don't know about that, but I don't know how involved a process it is, and whether one would actually need to then conduct a town planner like yourself, and then before one effects any improvements on that property. Because I'm asking that because someone would have told me that, no, there are improvements that are allowed as soon as the new plan is submitted to the municipality. There are improvements that are allowed to be effected, but I would like to get clarity in terms of which improvements. Would we be talking about, for example, a pool? Would we be talking about a lapa, or does that extend to a house itself? The third one is, there have been talks about SPLUMA, that it's coming up and all that, and the people must actually try and regularize whatever they would have done previously. Yeah, I don't know if that will be any different from what is happening in terms of SPLUMA, or maybe we are already operating in that environment, SPLUMA environment. So maybe your advice will also help. Thank you.
Now, Zomshekazi, you must, but I think we must deal them one by one.
All right. Thanks, Mshekazi. Thanks, Put. Thanks. I hear you saying whatever building plans that were submitted are not correlating to what is currently happening on site. You're saying there is a garage and that's on the property, but then it's not shown on the building plans. What I would advise Mshekazi is to get an architect. An architect will go to the council and obtain the old building plans, and then I guess it's going to use those building plans to redraw whatever is existing on site at the moment. Then we will help you submit and get the approved ones. So that would be my advice. But then let me put it straight: an architect will advise you further more than I do, because I'm just a town planner. I deal with the zonings most of the time, but I exactly know that if you get an architect professional, it's always good to get a professional and registered architect, because they are able to sign some documents. Because you might find an architect who's not registered, you go and ask another registered architect. If they have a conflict, then your plan gets stuck, or the process gets delayed. So you don't want to get involved in those things. I think from the word go, just get a professional registered architect, and then I'm sure he will assist you on that one. But what I know, they will have to either they redraw the whole plan of the house, or use the registered building plans from the municipality to do an overlay drawing on them and submit them. So that's how I'll answer the first question. So in terms of improvements, you're talking about improvements. Yes, you can only do the improvements on your property once you get like an approved building plans. So what I hear you talking about, for example, the pool and the lapa. What advice that I'll give you is that whenever you get an architect, you must include all the improvements you want to do on your property. because yes, pool and the lapa, they're part of the drawing plans. They must be shown in the drawing plans because they take coverage of the property. So include them all as one project when you get an architect. And that's when you can only legally do improvements on your property. You can't just demolish here, build there, without letting the municipality know about it. In terms of SPLUMA, SPLUMA is already operational. We're working with SPLUMA already. So the bylaw we're talking about is based on SPLUMA. It's based on SPLUMA, so that SPLUMA is a bigger policy. It's a bigger policy, and then municipalities, they have to break down according to their context, to fit.
Can you just explain for everyone who's here, what is SPLUMA and how does it impact on everything else?
Okay. I'll take you back just a bit. SPLUMA is a evolvement of policies. Before you had Development Facilitation Act of 1996, yes. Then we moved to Township Ordinances of 1986. Then we moved to SPLUMA. So all those policies that I've mentioned, they are bigger policies that regulate the development and the land uses in the country. Framework, which is regulated by National Department of Rural Development, which is managed and overseen by that department. So what it does, it tells, I'll put it in simple terms. Anyone hear me? I see that my internet is kind of giving me problems.
Yeah, no, we're good.
Can you hear me, guys?
Yes,
okay.
Yeah. Continue, class.
Okay, class. SPLUMA is just an overall policy that is used by the municipalities to manage the land uses within their context, if I can put it that way. But then the SPLUMA from the National Department is much broader. So what they did, they instructed municipalities to lower it down, to framework it down to their context. So that's why you find municipalities now, they have their SPLUMA bylaw land use, because it's contextual to their locations. Because the bigger one, the SPLUMA one, the one that is managed by National Development, is broader. It just tells them, the municipality how a certain land use must be done, but then it's not contextual. So the government instructed municipalities to have their own bylaws, but they must be based on the mother bylaw, which is the SPLUMA, managed by the government. It's still the same policy, but then it has been broken down by the municipalities to fit their context. I don't know if I have tried to put it.
Yeah, no, it's good, Mhlekazi. Thank you.
Yeah. So to Mhlekazi, yes, SPLUMA is already operational. We're using SPLUMA already. Municipalities are using SPLUMA. There's only a few municipalities that they don't use SPLUMA in the country. Some of the rural municipalities, but most of the municipalities that I've worked with, they've already using the bylaw, the SPLUMA bylaw.
I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Sorry, Mhlekazi, is there not that question from Bongani?
Yes, I think Mhlekazi have answered Bongani's questions.
Okay,
Bongani, are you clear? Bongani, are you clear? Hello, Bongani?
No, it's fine. It's fine, Mhlekazi. If he's not clear, then he will contact you.
All right.
I am. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Hi. Hello, everyone. Thank you for the informative presentation, Kakane.
Thanks.
And just out of curiosity on the rezoning, I live on a street where someone bought a property and suddenly developed or renovated it, and it became like a residential property, and then it became a church. And I'm just curious as to what would have happened there, because I thought part of what the municipality regulates is also the noise levels in a residential area, because it's a residential block. It's not a commercial street or anything like that. And you can see it was like a real squeeze. It's a huge building, and you know, so it's one of those happy churches. People clap hands, and it goes on until, you know, midnight, and you know, there's no sort of monitoring or regulating of the level of noises that come from there. But how is it that the municipality is able to approve such a development in a residential block, like have a church being built? Yeah, this one is just out of curiosity.
All right. Thanks for your question. But I can tell already probably that land use is in conflict of what is existing there. Because if rezoning was done or consent use was done, I refer in terms of the application, if those two were done, you would have received letters from the applicant. Or if not, you would have seen a notice, a site notice on the property where the church is operating, to say that this property is being rezoned from this to church. If you have any comments, you must comment to the municipality at this time, and then you put your comment, your objection if you have an objection, or don't do anything if you don't have an objection. But then the objection period is normally given in an application. So if you haven't seen that, I think you still have a right to go to the church leader and ask whether the land use that is happening there, is it lawful? If it's lawful, you can ask for the approval documents. If not, you can lodge a complaint to the municipality to say, to the municipality, specifically the land, the development planning department, to say there's this land use is making a lot of noise. You don't know whether proper application were submitted. It's just making a noise in the neighborhood. Can you please go and inspect it? Where the municipal officials will send an inspector, and they will check. You might, in fact, I think it's good if you go with the property or ERF number, stand number, and say this is happening, and look at it on their GIS system. They will look at the zoning of the stand, what land uses are permissible there. If whatever is happening on site is not listed as a secondary right, then obviously those people are operating illegally, and the municipality must send an inspector or must write to them to stop whatever land use they are doing. So I'll give you those options, is to say, okay, go to the municipality, or the first one would say approach the church leaders. But then that might bring a conflict. Just to avoid conflict, just go straight to the municipality, and ask them and report the matter to them. Probably they will send the inspector. That land use is not supposed to make noise. Such land use within a residential unit not supposed to make noise.
Okay, thanks, Mhlekazi. Let's go to Andazile, and then we have Pindi.
Thank you, colleagues, for this opportunity of sharing information. I would just like to ask KK, how much would it be to rezone? Let us say you are rezoning from res 1 to res 2 or 3.
All right.
Yeah.
In terms of fees, we charge for rezoning, for example, which we charge from 58 upwards. Minimum is 58,000. Then if you want to do a subdivision application, we charge 45,000. That's your subdivision and consolidation. For consent use, we charge 48,000. So it's 45,000 for consolidation and subdivision. It's 48,000 for consent use, and then we charge 58,000 for rezoning.
Okay, thank you for covering more than what I asked.
Yeah. then for one-on-one consultation, then I charge per what's gazetted on subplan, which is 2,300 per hour. But then I normally negotiate that hour with my clients, because sometimes, I want more clients, guys, and I want to help people with the product that I want. So.
All right. Thank you.
I hope you, ladies and gents, you heard how much other professionals charge per hour compared to my coaching fee. But Tandazile, I hope the cost for rezoning is not just the cost that you pay to the town planner. There is also cost that you need to pay for them to the municipality, and then they're also going to ask you to contribute towards the bulk infrastructure that Umhlekazi spoke about. But yeah, those are technicalities that one should just be aware of. Pindi?
Okay.
Can I, sorry, Umhlekazi.
Okay.
So you, just to allude a bit to what I said earlier in terms of cost. Remember, the fees, you don't pay them all at once. I divide it. I do some work. You all pay what I've done. You don't pay them all at once. Let's say the upfront payment out of that 58,000, my fund is 21,000, just to do the run around and submit the application. Then I submit the application, I submit another invoice. Then I deal with the comments and objections. Then I submit another invoice. Then I get an approval, I submit another invoice. So I only get for what I've paid. So for what I've not done, then yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
And you ladies and gents must also remember what I said to you last week about the price of the spade versus the value of gold. Don't look at the price that you pay to the town planner. Look at what you are going to achieve at the end of this investment that you trying to get. So look at the gold, not the price of the spade. If you have got a property that's in a good place and that will create a lot of value for you, 48,000, even 100,000 rands, even $1 million rands for that matter, is nothing compared to what you would want to achieve at the end. So when you look at these prices, don't look at the rands and cents, but look at what is it that you're trying to achieve with the amount that you pay. Pindi, are you here?
Yes, thank you. My question was answered. It was regarding the cost of rezoning. Thank you.
Okay. Great. And Dale?
Yes, sir. Morning. How are you, Kakalonzo? Morning, guys.
Great. How are you, Dale?
Fine. Thanks, gents. I just have a question. Now, with regard to rezoning, can it ever be declined or rejected, the application? And at what stage is that happening? And what are some of the reasons why it would be? Like if I want to rezone from residential to, I want to put up multi-lets. That's an example you said we would have to rezone. So in what instances can the municipality reject it, and why? Can I have a reason? Thank you.
Okay, thanks for that question, Put. Short answer, yes. The municipality can decline a rezoning, but that depends on the motivation of the memorandum. What kind of motivation? How you motivated on the memorandum? Did you use the right policies that they use as a municipality that's guiding their development? So if you get any town planner, for example, who has not been doing more of the memorandum, rezoning memorandums, then you might find that even the town planner will be assessing the application in the municipality is not convinced or does not get convinced about the way the memorandum is written. So that's why you need to get a proper town planner. Proper town planner will do an investigation, pre-investigation before you submit an application, so that you can advise your client upfront to say, based on this and this, your property doesn't allow this to, because of the existing character around the area, it doesn't allow it. You can look at the municipality town planning scheme, the zoning map, around the surrounding zonings, whatever you want there is not existing within 500 meter radius from your property. So it's likely that the municipality will decline. It's more likely that the municipality will decline your application. So if you're bringing something new within the neighborhood that you're staying at, then there's a lot of motivation you have to do. You have to look at transport, for example, if you want to increase the zoning, the zoning in terms of density. That means you want dwellings. You have to look at the issue of transport. If the property is not located close to transport nodes, then municipality can decline that. If the park infrastructure is not enough, then the municipality can decline that, or we can mitigate it on what you're gonna do as a client to supply more water, to supply more electricity if there's a shortage of that. So those are the things that municipality looks at before they approve the application. Is there any are there any park services to support your development? Is it close to transport nodes? Is it aligned to their policies, town planning scheme, their special development frameworks? So those are the kind of things that they look at. But then that kind of information is supposed to be given by town planner even before you submit an application, so that they can advise you, say, no, my brother, you can't win on this one because of A and B, the policy is saying this, you know. So I'll answer and put it that way.
Okay.
Yes, the municipality can decline. Yeah.
I got it. Thank you.
Yeah, no. And then we have Selby, Nzuzo, Jay, Karabo, and Kiamo. So Selby?
Do you hear me, guys?
Yes, Selby. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Morning, Kaka. Thank you for the lovely presentation. It's very informative. I just wanted to ask you, there is a property that is currently in the process of being rezoned from residential one to community facility for a place of education. But we are actually looking at getting that place to be used for multi dwellings. Will that be possible? Will that be okay? Or do we have to change that process of rezoning to something else, to maybe residential two or something?
So you're saying it's currently it's zoned residential one, and you want to convert it to educational?
It's in the process of moving to community facility for a place of education. So my question is, well, can we just leave it going into that community facility for the multi-lets, or do we need to maybe change it to something different for multi-lets?
Meaning you want to put more dwelling units?
Yes.
I think, Mhlekazi, if I understand Selby correctly, he's saying he wants to buy this property, but it's the property itself. He wants to buy the property to build a multi-lets, but you just find out that the property itself is in the process of being rezoned to community use. Is that am I summing your question correct?
Yes, yes. Okay. Okay, thanks for that question, I think it's being rezoned to a wrong zone, because if you wanna put more dwelling units on the property, it has to be from res 1 to res 2 or res 3. So if it's rezoned to from res 1 to community facility, in brackets school, then it's a wrong zoning. So the applicant who's currently doing the application, you can write a letter of withdrawal of that zoning process, and then it will remain res 1. Then you start a new rezoning application from res 1 to res 2 or res
3. Can we change that process? That's because it's still current. The moving to community facility. Can we change it to a different zone while it's still in the process?
No, the only option is to withdraw that current process. Yeah, because it's a wrong zoning to put more dwelling units, whereas you wanna zoning to community facility. It's a wrong zoning. It should be from res 1 to res 2 or res 3 if you wanna put more dwelling units. But then if you are rezoning from res 1 to community facility, it's no longer feasible for dwelling units to happen. That means now for community facility, remember other community facility, most of the uses we have, you have a community hall, we have a creche, you have a police station, you have clinics. So you don't want that kind of zoning if you want to put more dwelling units. You want to keep it residential, but then it's a matter of changing on which category of residential and put it residential 2 or residential 3. So the option is to whoever applicant was doing that application, he or she must get in a power of attorney to withdraw that application process. Then once the municipality approves and say, okay, we withdraw, you receive the withdrawal letter, and yeah, you can start a new process of rezoning again from residential 1 to residential 2 or 3.
Okay, and Zuzo?
Thank you. Just one more. What are the differences between the zones residential 1, residential 2, and 3? I think you said 1 is for a single family.
Yes, just a standalone with one dwelling house. Let's say you have one house on it. We have a pool. We have a small garden outside. Just a normal, dwelling house. Then residential 2. That's where you have a cluster development, where you have like your detached houses or semi-detached houses. It's a cluster development. You're not going up. Then residential 3. So now you're going up. You have like the 3rd floor, 2nd floor. You have parking in front of the apartments. Actually, that's residential 3.
So our plan at the moment is to create more units or rooms or dwellings for more families. Will that fall into maybe category 1, residential? No, residential 2 actually.
Okay, yeah, it can fall as long as not gonna be apartments going up. Then you can put it on. Well, on residential 2, the height there you've given like a 2-story height, so you cannot go beyond 2. So whatever you're gonna be doing, it cannot go to 2-story height. So you go horizontal in terms of building, not going up. But on residential 3, you go up. 3 and above. Yeah.
It's a flat. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Right. Yeah, ladies and gents, let's not ask too many questions. Let's if you've got any questions, you've got Kaka's details. You can contact him, and then he will assist you. Let's just ask the burning ones and get rid of the burning. Zuzo?
Thank you very much, Mr. Nkonzo. Kaka, thank you for the glaring presentation. I am an architect, professional architect myself from Lazuza Group. What I want to ask you specifically, we specialize in building imqasho or the rooms in the townships. And my question is just straight to that, because I think you've answered most of my other questions. I won't go there now.
Please, yeah.
Generally speaking, you'll find 4 room in a township, and I want to buy the property, and either I demolish or I extend from it so that I can have maybe say 12 rooms and suits, you know, like self-contained units. I'm not going to subdivide them. Typically, it's kuluma ngemqasho. This is just a blanket statement. I don't want to be specific to an area, because then we'll be going to details.
Yeah.
I just want to know from your side, if you do know, what are the limitations for us when we want to turn a typical township 4-room into, say, 12 units for rental? You know, just generally as a blanket statement. I know that where I am based in Pinetown, I can do such things in one township. Basically, it's Nazareth and Claremont. But anywhere else, there are limitations. So I want to just to pick your brains a bit. What is the, if you are aware of such?
It varies from municipality to municipality in terms of their town planning scheme. Yes. And on their town planning scheme, they have permissible density for each property. For example, for residential 2, you have a permissible density. And then we have residential 3, they have their own permissible density. So remember, if, let's say you're on residential 1, and if you're on residential 1, and now we want to increase the units inside the house, remember we are increasing the density on that property of what it was initially designed for. Remember, it was only designed for 1 family household, for example.
Yeah.
Now you are increasing more density, which means it's going to affect water, it's going to affect electricity. So it's going to affect, if it's going to affect traffic around that area. So now that's why municipalities say, okay, that density for a room to have this number of bedrooms, you need this, let's say the maximum will be 12. For example, I'll use Johannesburg and along the Empire Corridor. So if you want to build a residential accommodation, I mean student accommodation rather, and on a residential one, they ask you to increase to at least 12, 12 units along that line, yeah, because there's enough public transport, it's close to schools, So it depends from density to density, and municipalities, they have the density framework policy, of which one can always refer to it. So it becomes very hard to take it out of my head to say, okay, you are only allowed this. It depends on that policy, how much they're giving on that particular property or particular area, if you want to do an increase on per craft.
Thank you, Mhlekazi. And
just to add, just to add, so the advice would say, okay, can you go to the town plan and just tell them what you want to increase, you are looking at this increase in this ERF, what number can you give me? They will be able to check and advise you further.
All right.
Thanks, Mhlekazi.
Thanks, we'll be in touch.
Yeah, Jay?
Thank you, Ndumiso. Hi, Khaka, and thank you for an educational presentation. So I have a question. My question is, how long does the rezoning process take? That's the first thing. And secondly, with regards to the SPLUMA legislation or regulation that you spoke about, you know, a lot of people had shacks and they've built, and surely the municipality does not have plans for those properties. So now, I, as an investor, now see an opportunity and I buy the property. What implications are there of buying such a property?
Can you please come again on the last question?
So I'm saying, with regards to the legislation that you spoke about, I would like to understand the effects of such properties. For an example, in the past, people ekasi, you know, they've got like a shack, they had shacks and they build houses now. And then Mina, I see an opportunity and then I want to invest and buy the property. Surely the municipality does not have plans for most of the buildings in the townships. So what implications are there for me when it comes to buying such a property?
Okay. Let me first answer the last question before I forget it. You see, Siswamne, every area, especially in the urban area, is regulated by the town planning scheme, which is enforced by the municipality. It's not like, for example, I'll use like township like Soweto and other townships. Yeah, they are regulated by the town planning scheme. It's a matter of the municipality. Remember, you always, sometimes in cases like that, municipalities, they always negotiate with the owner because of currently what's happening in the surroundings. It's either the municipality are unable to control the situation, or there are negotiations that they can always enter into. But it's not like they're just doing willy-nilly in Soweto, for example. They are regulated by the town planning scheme. They always have to apply for whatever they want to do in their property. So for you to be on the safer side, it's always proper to approach the municipality or a town planner, get an advice from them, and then they'll advise you accordingly, because you can't dive on an investment that will always put you in trouble in the next 10 years, for example. So I always advise my clients that it's always to do the proper thing and let it take long, if it takes long, but then once it gets right, it's going to be for lifetime. So I would advise to just follow the town planning scheme, or you get a town planner, get his advice, what's happening in Soweto, what options can you do on that property, give him the property number, stand number. Then it becomes easier to search on the GIS and look and also look at the town planning scheme, what it's saying about such properties. So I wouldn't advise you to just jump into such development, just seeing other people doing it and then just do it, because it might, for you, I guess now you have more knowledge than them. So it's better to always do the better thing. Then coming on the duration of a rezoning application. For example, in the city of Joburg, I think it was before the lockdown, around March, February, end of February, they announced a new time frames for land development applications, of which rezoning was 6 months and subdivision was 3 months. So now that's how we look at it. That's the time we're looking at, the time frame we're looking at, 3 to 5 to 6 months. Then if remember, some of the things that can delay your application is when you have a lot of objections from your neighbors. And then if there are a lot of objections, the application goes to tribunal. Tribunal is a small court for land development applications. Every municipality has one. So it goes to that tribunal, then that's when the decision is taken. So even if you get that tribunal, it takes long for it to happen. So it might drag to, I always say, maximum of 12 months at rezoning. But then we get lucky if it gets approved within that smaller time frame, 3 to 6 months.
All right, thank you so much.
And Karabo?
Thanks again. Apologies, Ndumiso, for not raising my hand earlier. Ne?
No problem. Go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah, and KK, one more for me from my side. You mentioned some of the reasons why a municipality would decline a rezoning, and I just wanted to check what would be the source of document for that. Would that be in the municipal bylaws? Because I'm still interested in that property that I mentioned earlier. Because I mean, if you don't deal with it proactively, then it becomes a reactive issue. But wouldn't that have been a reason to decline? Because a church for me now, with the education that we have been provided with now on this platform, sounds like a community facility. So why would it be in a residential block?
Remember, every community, when you do a township, it must remember town planning. It's a matter of it's more considerate to people. We're dealing with people, so we understand people. They must have transport. They must have access to services, water, sewer, electricity. They must have access to social facilities, your clinics, police stations. They must have access to parks, for recreational purposes. They must also have access to churches. So having a church, if the zoning of the current church you're talking about is community facility, yes, the zoning is right. Now it becomes a matter of reporting it to the municipality to say they must lower the noise, to the municipality or JMPD. But JMPD, I think there must be something that's written to say, okay, we're going to comply to the neighbors' concerns about noise. So if you, as I said, if you go to the municipality and report the matter, I think they would come up with something. But if the zoning is community facility, I bet they have the right to operate as a church. Unfortunately, as well.
But then what is the source of document, the source document for that? If I were to read up on my own, what is permissible and what is not? Is it in the bylaw? Would that be in the bylaws?
It's a town, it's called town planning land use scheme. Yeah, it's a land use scheme or a town planning scheme. Depends on what municipality are calling it, but it's a land use scheme or a town planning scheme of that municipality.
Because I think to take away the guesswork, it will be proper for Karabo to just take the F number and take it to the town planning department of the specific municipality, and then just ask them what is the zoning of that particular land. Yeah. Yes, because that will take away the guesswork. Because you can go and get the town planning scheme only to find that it's not updated and whatever the case may be. And Kiamo?
Thank you.
All right.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Kiamo.
Hello. Kiamo?
Kiamo?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear now.
Okay, I just want to find out about the zoning, and actually I was more scared of the demolition part. So tell me, what is the involvement of municipality with tribal lands? So I buy land from the representative of the kings, and they give me this land and I want to build property on it. How is the municipality involved in that?
All right. Thanks for your question, sis. You see, this one is a good question that you ask. Each municipality is got an urban edge. Back in the rural areas, I'll make an example. We have an urban edge. An urban edge basically saying that's where the scheme can regulate. So then the land beyond that, let's say, for argument's sake, then it belongs to the tribal land. It's a tribal land. Then now the municipality has got no authority to regulate a tribal land. If they want to do so, they always first approach the traditional leaders first, you know, and then the traditional leaders, and then, for example, I'll make an example. If they want to build a creche there, they want to build a school there, they always approach the owners, the traditional leaders of that land, tribal leaders of that land, and ask for that land or ask to put that development there. So the town planning part can only go as far where the urban edge ends, and then after that, then the traditional the tribal leaders can be in charge of the land. So if you are currently situated on a tribal land, because at the same time it depends on what negotiation, what agreement does the municipality have with the tribal leaders in terms of managing their land. But if there's no agreement and there's no negotiation that was entered into, then you can just in your I hope I've answered.
Yeah, thanks, Mhlekazi. I think we have the last one now, Morungwa.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, everyone. KK, just
Yes,
a quick one. Say I've got a 4-room house, which is one dwelling in that area. Then I want to build a garage and 2 rooms at the back, which are not attached to the main house, that are isolated, that are independent, they're sitting on their own, not attached to the main building. Do I still have to go and rezone for rest 2? Now, remember, rest 1 you said it allows 1 dwelling.
Yes.
So now I'll be having 3 now, which are not attached to the main one. Do I have to go and now apply for rest 2?
No, you don't have to apply for rest 2. You apply for written consent of the municipality for second dwelling. Something that you apply for is done specially for such a situation that you want to do. If you want to have if you have like a on your property, then you apply for written consent application.
So you apply for consent?
They call it written consent application.
Okay, right. Thank you.
To the municipality. You don't have to rezone.
Okay, ladies and gents, I think let's take this one final one, and that Mpomukwena.
Oh, thank you, Ntobiso. We mentioned a notice of non-compliance earlier. Yeah? So I just wanted to find out, is that coupled with any fine that you have to pay? And if so, how much are we looking at?
Oh, okay. No, so it doesn't come up with any fine. It's a matter of noticing. Basically, the municipality is saying, hey, we've noticed what you're doing on the property. It's illegal. Then we suggest that you comply. They give you a time frame. Then it's up to you to respond in writing to them as well. Say, I will comply. Or if you have already complied, say, I've complied. Appointed a town planner with doing so and so, or I've appointed an architect with doing this and that. So there's no fine. If you don't comply, they just go for a demolition order, because the fine doesn't help them in regulating what they want on the scheme. So they just want to.
Okay. No, thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Ladies and gents, there's someone who's got such a high noise in the background. Someone is cooking.
Yeah.
I think
I think it's someone.
Let's end it here. If anyone has got questions, they can then contact Kaka directly and ask their questions, or you can also contact me. If I can't help you, then I will speak to Kaka, then we can sort it out. But just to close off, like I said, I spoke about the price of the shovel or the spade versus the price of the gold. We did that last week, and I've touched on it today. I'm not touching on that. And just on the program, on the 8th, we have the funder slot. On the 15th of August, we have the builder slot, so that we can complete this series of multi-lets. Then on the 22nd of August, then I will do a detailed training for those that would have booked and paid for that training. And I must say to you that this has become a popular training, and there is limited seats. I normally take 15 people to the training, so that I make sure that I give attention to the people in the training, and if they've got questions after the training as well, I can attend to those questions. So I limit the number. It's unlike the Saturday sessions where anyone can join. Just note this, on next weekend, on the 1st of August, there's nothing happening because I will be attending to my other duties as a Toastmaster. Now, that's the training that I spoke about. There's no reason for me to waste your time, but as part of the training, I want to share with you secrets or some tips around the properties that you buy for multi-let. That's my property that I bought a few years ago. I don't know whether you are able to spot what's good and what's bad with that property. This property's got land, a lot of land in front of the house, and it's got massive land at the back. Now we'll talk to you about the tips when you're buying a multi-let, whether should you be buying that property or not. This second picture, this is a stretched picture of the same property. Sorry, I'm just trying to stretch it. Okay. Yeah, this is basically a stretched picture of the same property to show the amount of land at the back. When I submitted plans to the municipality wanting to build at the back, the municipality told me about something that I did not know about, which is servitudes. That one should be aware of this thing called servitudes. When you buy, you must be aware of servitude, but we'll talk to you about all of those in the course. Like I say, as part of the title, that corner stand, you must be careful when you are sold a corner stand, and agents will only say to you that this is a corner stand, you can extend, you can do whatever, only to find that you can't actually do those things. And I will also just tell you about how much simple due diligence can save you from making wrong mistakes, or it can encourage you from making good decisions. I don't know whether you can notice that this is a piece of land that's right in between houses. It's a small piece of land. If you are not an investor, you look at this land, you think, I can build myself a very nice house here. But if you are an investor and you do proper due diligence, you can build something as beautiful as what I did with that piece of land. You would note that's me there, and my neighbor friend. You can't really see him because he's a true African. He's somewhere there in the background, but yeah, you can see the cap though. Now, this is what we did, and this is how we met with Kaka. When we met at this particular, when I asked, I needed his services to help me convert this land from institutional zoning to RS4, where we could build a number of houses in it. Now, we have not done that because we've done the zoning, the municipality portion is gone. I've paid my dues that he spoke about when he mentioned his prices. I had to pay all of that. Yeah, but yeah, I will share with you what we did there with Kaka in terms of the practical work that we did. I know I spoke about this at the beginning, but it's meant when mentioning again. You have heard now what Kaka has said. You have heard a bit about me. I'm asking you to take action from what you have heard, either to go and learn more about the things that Kaka and myself shared with you, or if there's action, practical action that you can do, then take that action. I know we spend a lot of time trying to go back to the plans and learning more to the books and all of that. But I'm saying to you that applied knowledge is power. Knowledge is not power, but applied knowledge is power. So try and apply the knowledge that we are sharing with you. If you feel that you still need some help in terms of understanding multilets, there's a training that I've told you about that I will be doing to share with you my experiences around multilets. So join me in that particular training. But most importantly, take action from what you have learned. Now, I found this piece to be very telling, that high achievers are action oriented. They don't dwell a lot on plans and talks and all of that. They take action. And they accomplish a lot because of they are taking action. If they have an idea, they take action on it immediately. Now think about yourself. How have you been conducting your life up to today? Now compare what life achievers have done or are doing to those of low achievers or non-achievers. I hope that's not me and you with good intentions that one day I will get into this thing about multilets, one day I will do this and that and that and that, which is very good. But the question is, how much action do you actually take? I don't know if you can see the last portion there that says the road to hell is paved with good intentions. So all I'm asking you is that stop making good intentions, but go on and take action. Realize what you want, because realizing what you want stops you from chasing butterflies, but it puts you to work on digging gold. And that's why I've been asking you to come to these Saturday sessions so that we can get the tools to go and dig the gold. There's a lot of it out there. The question is whether you want it or not. If you're saying that you want it, how much do you really want of it, and how much do you really want it? So this Saturday, I'm pleading with you again. Review your notes, take one thing from what you have learned, and get on with it. And hopefully, I'm looking forward to most of you joining me on the 22nd of August, so that we can delve deeper into multilets and how we can make money from it. That is from me, and I thank you for coming and sharing your time with us this morning. Again, for joining us, and you have made us to be somewhere there close to you now. We just left with the practice number, then we are town planners. Thanks, ladies and gents. Enjoy your weekend.
Thank you, Ndumiso.
Thank you, Ndumiso. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Julia.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you,
very
Sare.
much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Enkosi, Mahlekazi.
Enkosi nakuwe.
Okay. Ndumiso, are you going to share the presentation?
Yes, yeah, you can, but remind me tomorrow, ne?
Okay.
Yeah, I will
All
share
right,
the
thank
link.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye
Okay,
bye.
Sharp Karabo, thanks for joining us. Ne?
Yeah, thank you for the invite. It was lots of information. So my notes are gonna come from also listening to the recording again. So
Yes, yeah.
good stuff. Thank you. Thanks again. Bye.
Great, Karabo. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Aziye bafowethu. Who's still here?
I'm still here.
Why are we not going? Why ungahambi?
Angizohamba baba. Kudala ngithi mazi phela lezi sessions ngidisappear. Hayi now make ngingahambi. I know that was a good session baba.
Yeah, no, it was very informative.
Yeah, very informative. And you see, I spoke to you a few weeks ago about into engifuna ukuyenza lapha endlini.
Yeah.
Apha eCampton Park.